Hello everyone, Baseball Lover 312 here, and welcome to Stage 3 of the 2015 Tour de France. Today's stage will be taking the riders from the flatlands of Anvers to the finish on the famous Mer de Huy. The Mer de Huy is a very steep climb, without a doubt, and it'll be interesting to see the top punchers come out, but also to make sure that the GC favorites don't lose time by cracking on the famous climb. We will get into the race now. We are in the race, and it looks like the pack has started out already, as you can see. All the Jersey contenders, and Svein Tuft is going to be the first person to attack, followed shortly by Dylan Van Bar and Roy Curvers.
Who want to avoid
we got Redo
Hollenstein
and Bram Tankink all following up, but it does not look like Katusha or Europe Car want to let this go. Not really sure. Katusha obviously working for Perito, but a lot of these teams also have favorites that are trying to get away. It looks like you really can't tell who is trying to get away and who is just pacing down. There's just a big scramble so far. It's Movie Star in the front. 3 riders ahead, still there. But there's going to be more attacks. It's going to be Schillinger, followed by Gautier and Vaugrenard.
Several riders are attempting to break away.
Kozenchuk does not want this to go.
A couple of teams have set themselves up as pacemakers for the pack. They obviously don't have anybody in the breakaway group.
There's been a split. As you can see, Kozenchuk goes back, and there is now a 13-man group that has Cancellara in it, and they are pacing hard. Don't think that early on they're going to be able to get anything. This is quite the move with 142k still to go, but it is an interesting group here. You got Langeveld, Didier, Cancellara, Schillinger, De Volder, Van Marke, Bach. No real punchers. They won't get away, but very interesting development there that was able to come to fruition. Lamprey catches them, but they're still trying to get Ian Stannard back, maybe? I can't imagine why they are pacing here. I don't feel as though they need to. I mean, they could let this break go. Not a threatening break at all. Ian Stannard's
some team managers mustn't appreciate the fact that there is a breakaway, given that the pack has increased its speed.
He's any real threat to the overall standings or to the stage today. But I guess it's interesting to see. The first half of the stage is pretty much boring. You got the sprint point, and then you got the mountains, or hills, but they're classified as mountains on course, at least. Marco Haller is on the front. He obviously does not want this to go. I'm not really seeing the reason, but either way, the teams of the main favorites, especially Katusha, Lamprey, Movie Star, and Tinkoff Saxo, and they're all working hard. All the guys who got away are working, so obviously that wasn't really a purposeful voyage that they took, but, you know, it happens. Either way, it's stretched out.
The pack is slowly whittling away the
hard
lead.
At the front.
They really are moving.
Ian Stannard
the pack can't get strung out too far.
It seems inevitable that they'll get caught, but they will not sit up. And that is the strangest part. They will not sit up, even though it seems inevitable they're getting caught. They're losing a second or two every K. And it seems like it's just a matter of time, but they will not give in.
Their front group is disorganized, and some riders are exploiting this opportunity to attack.
Stannard is attacked, but these guys are going to get swept up. It looks like 15 seconds to the chase group. Van Barle's already cracked. We're about 10k into the race. That's probably bad. If this race keeps going hard, they could get eliminated today. They keep trying so hard. Ian Stannard, they sit up. So obviously it was not Stannard that they wanted, because they've sat up. Attack, Lars Bach.
There's more than a minute on the clock. The break seems to be working.
No reaction.
He broke from the pack like a greyhound.
So that seems like the break of the day. No reaction from anyone behind. There's an attack by Pierre Frederigo. No reaction.
He's going to take
Or
them
there
on by
is.
himself.
Okay, so they don't want Perry Frederigo to get away. 151st overall. Obviously too dangerous. Just too dangerous. Just they couldn't let him. And they sat up for a second. But no, it does not look like they want him to get away. And now he is. So interesting tactics by the main
the gap
group.
is widening. It's now more than 2 minutes. The
Marco
peloton
Holler
seems
now
content
back
to
on the
let it
front,
grow.
really
Look,
pacing.
the pack has taken its foot off the gas.
don't know
The team
what they're
leaders can't be
pacing
too
for.
worried about the breakaway.
Sometimes they sit up, sometimes they start pacing really hard. Like, Marco Holler can't decide if his team is supposed to pace right now. Interesting thing, I guess. Not really sure. But up at the front, as you can see, Bach, Standard, and Elmiger are together. Standard's been out there for a while, but he is probably the strongest. They're all semi-decent punchers, but no one's really great. Elmiger's probably the best out of those guys. And Tinkoff has finally stood up. So that looks like it will be the break of the day. Perry Frederigo is coming up to them right now. And that'll be your break for the day. So we will see you at the sprint point. We're coming up to the sprint point now, and as you can see, they're not pacing too hard in the peloton yet, but that should come. In the breakaway, they're just not really acknowledging it yet. We'll see if they go for it. I assume they will. It's still very early in the race, and you always just want to have a chance to get the jersey on your hands, or at the very least, they probably won't get the jersey, but at the very least, get the prize money. And it looks like Standard is going to take it over Elmiger,
Bach, should be coming more and more to the fore.
And Perry Frederigo. In the peloton, we now see it. They just start dashing forward. No lead-out trains. Buhani, then Sam Bennett, Greipel, Degenkolb, and Tyler Farah. Very surprising. A lot of guys missing that, especially the current green jersey. Mark Cavendish does not
can't
sprint.
Be happy with the breakaway.
As you can see, he's around there. He's with DeMar and Kakard around there in the pack, but they decide not to actually try anything. Will that come back to haunt him? Probably, because I mean, when you're in the green jersey, you have to at least try to defend it, you would think. Very surprising move, and Nasser Buhani takes it, but nice sprint by Sam Bennett. Right up there with the best of them. We'll see you at the mountain point. Today's going to be a big day for the King of the Mountains, and it will pretty much all be decided on course today. We're coming up to the first point. It's a third category, and they've already attacked. Starting to go off here.
He's trying to give his pals the slip. So this is the last third of the race.
Elmiger
Anyone who's gunning for victory has got to make a move fairly soon.
Starts to give it to him, but is
This
reluctant.
climb features some dreadful percentages. The breakaway is not to everybody's liking. The peloton has significantly increased its speed.
Looks like Lars Bach is attacking, but Standard's right on his wheel. I can't imagine this getting too far before Standard pops around just like he has, and will take it. Standard takes the mountain points. Bach will get one. Then Elmiger. Perry Frederigo now pretty distant from that group, so it's going to be hard for him to get back on. But we'll see if he can. Meanwhile, as the bunch passes the way through the first mountain of the tour, Daniela Benatti, their sprinter, leads them over. Well, they have Sagan. He's their sprinter, but Benatti should be a lead-out man. They don't need him today, as it is a hilly stage, so we'll see what happens with that. Back up front, things all back together, except for Perry Frederigo, who is still behind. Not a good day for him. He's a -3
Some teams can't be happy with the breakaway.
Books, but we'll see what happens with that. Ian Standard on the front, and the next mountain sprint is about 20k away.
Breakaway in the leading group.
First catch of the day is being made. Perry Frederigo did make it back up, but did crack. He was not able to withstand the pressure that superior riders such as Lars Bach and Martin Elmiger and Ian Standard could all handle on the flat. Anyway, the gap is coming down to the break. 133. That's the latest gap with 21K to go. We still have 3 climbs on the day, so it's going to be a very interesting stage. We'll see what happens.
There's an attack in the leading group.
Really,
some riders were not giving it their all and sharing the pace.
You would assume, because it's not a long climb, and it doesn't happen very too far from the finish. So some of the strong sprinters teams might think they can just do the course, but that climb is very steep. So if you can sprint up that climb, I applaud you. Anyway, Elmaker is going to take the 4th category. Not a good response from Standard, who is completely cracked. You could see him trying to pace him down, but Elmaker just blew him away.
Only 15
Lars
kilometers
Bach's
left.
on the wheel. He's not going anywhere. And over the top of the climb for the peloton, it'll be Lars Boom who takes them over. Now
Watch out.
Astana puts
The
on
team
the
leader
pace
is falling
very
behind.
hard. They've almost caught the 2 riders in front. That shouldn't be a problem for them. But what should be a problem is Martin Elmaker, who is, with 11K to go, still 2 minutes up on the
Counter-attack by
peloton.
Valverde.
That's a
The
real
riders are
threat.
entering
And
the last 10
Cancellara has got to
kilometers
be
of the
doing
stage.
something with his yellow jersey right now. Thinking about something to edit out here. And there's already attacks going off. It's Joaquin Rodriguez. On the downhill before the Murdoch-y. Nobody anticipated that, and Daniel Martin goes. He's chased down by Kangert. No chance.
And he
Valverde
sprints away from the group.
it
He's
was on
going
his
for
wheel
victory.
anyway. But mad dash going off. We still have a second to last
The
climb to
riders are
go,
going
and
through a
that's where
very
they're
tough
attacking.
portion with percentages
Dan Martin
above
attacks.
10%.
He does get a gap this time.
Uh-oh, a leader has fallen. We can only hope
There's a
that
crash
it
in
doesn't
the
have any
peloton.
impact on the outcome of the race.
There's a
The
huge
little
crash.
promenade is over. The
It
group
looks
has
like
been overhauled. A group of
a lot of
riders has come
FDJ
a
guys
cropper,
down.
but they
None
all
of the
look ready to
pre-race
set off
favorites
again.
are there. We'll go back to the front,
Only 5 kilometers left.
where Alejandro Valverde has gotten a gap, but Rodriguez, Martin, Kreuziger, and Froome are on his wheel. Then it's a peloton that contains Nibali and Contador, both still there, and that's going to be a hard pill to swallow if they lose time before the climb even starts. Nevertheless, it seems as though they should be able to get back. Here we are, the Murdoch-y. Valverde is going to take the win. Dan Martin right behind him.
A solo victory for Valverde.
And Kreuziger. Then Rodriguez and Bardet. Roland, Sagan. Where are the favorites? Nibali is in that group. Contador was right at the
It's
back
been
of it.
announced
So,
that a rider
as you
is
can see, there was a
withdrawing.
dash
The
towards
pace
the
was
line. It's a
certainly
very
too high
short
for him.
climb. So, it's really hard to replicate the kind of action that goes on in such a short period of time. You can, in a split second, you can really miss it. But, you know, that's going to be a hard pill to swallow
for the
for
back markers
any of the
who
guys
appear
that
to be
lost
fairly
time.
numerous
Where
in
did
this
Chris Froome
difficult
end
race.
up? Because I did not see him right away. And he was in the attackers early on. He was not in the top 15. Of course, neither was Contador, so we can assume he was in that second group until we know otherwise. But it looks like Cancellara will lose the jersey. He finished 14th, so that was the second group. Not sure how that will turn out for him. Whether that'll turn out as he keeps it by a slim margin or he loses it by a slim margin. Alejandro Valverde takes the stage, 27 seconds to the nearest rider, Dan Martin. A lot like Flesh Wallone 2013 or 2014. Dan Martin will be sad that he didn't take the stage, but he does get a podium ahead of Kreuziger. And Valverde does take it. Fabian Cancellara now 19 seconds down. Roman Kreuziger only 2 seconds down, though. So at the cobble stage tomorrow, anything could really happen. You don't know if the GC contenders will be up for it or not. Then you have Kelderman, Contador, Talansky from 54 seconds down, so he did lose some time. Cav still has the points lead, but not sprinting today in the sprints intermediate was probably a really bad choice because, well, why not sprint in the intermediate sprint, especially on a non-sprinter's day, so it's not like he had to save something for the finish. He'll keep the jersey, though, for now. We'll see what happens. And Alejandro Valverde will take the Mountains points. Elmiger won 1 of the mountain sprints, while Standard won 1. So there wasn't really a way for a breakaway rider to win unless they won multiple of them, and they just couldn't. Wilco Kelderman takes over the best running rider from Tom Dumoulin. That might be something he wants to keep. I mean, Nairo Quintana, a minute 35 down, so we'll see if Kelderman thinks that, he's feeling good. He's not the best climber, but he's a very good one, very capable. Of course, there's other challengers. Bardet's right behind him. And the overall team goes to Tinkoff Saxo, so good way for them to kick it off here. They had a lot of guys chasing behind, but, that could change at any point in the week as well. That's a very temporary prize, especially this early on. So as you can see, these are the results. Where did Chris Froome end up? He did not end up in the second group. Chris Froome gets dropped by the second group on the road that contained Contador, Talansky, Malama, Nibali, and instead he drops 115 on Alejandro Valverde. Now he's 8th place overall, so not a good day for him. Not as bad as Nairo Quintana, who finishes 139 behind in a day in which his teammate won. Now, obviously, that means his teammate got a lot of the team support, but that's not something that you want to be shedding. And now with his teammate in the yellow jersey and him 208 behind, I don't know, leadership at Movistar comes into question again. It seemed as though it had calmed down and Nairo was the ultimate favorite for their team, but maybe not. It'll be the last couple of years all over again where their leadership is split and factions may start to form. Pinot losing a lot of time as well, and some of the strong sprinters thought they might get in on it, but not to be. Richie Porte, Perot even farther behind. TJ Van Garderen loses 3:02. That is detrimental. That's not good. And it's going to be really hard for him to come back from that now. That's a real blow. Ryder Hagedal losing a lot of time as well. So, not everybody was up to it. And early on in the race, that can be the case. You don't have time to ride into your legs. And that was definitely the case today. A lot of people losing a lot of time. So, we'll see you guys next time. This is Baseball Over 312 signing out. And after the crash that we saw, Roman Sicard has actually abandoned the tour. So, he will not be contesting any of the other stages. We'll see you guys next time. This is Baseball Over 312 signing out.